Evening, guys. So I have been doing a bit of cutting. Been cutting up some oak, some silver birch, some larch, a little bit of pine, and very kindly had a camera shot, a fantastic delivery of oak. Shout out to my friend SG Scrumpy, you know who you are. And I thought I'd show you one of the saws that I use kind of as a go-to saw for picking up and almost cutting anything. As a middleweight saw, they are spectacular. So today I've been sawing with, well, there's a few saws in frame, so I've been sawing with one of my 08S's. Love that saw. They're early 60s saw, so depending on the piston, they changed the piston at later on in their development. They went from, I think, from a 48 to a 56 cc, and so I don't know which one that one is, but it cuts incredibly well with the Stihl solid nose bar. And then I've been cutting with one of my 07S's, 75 cc, again mid 60s saw, 1965, the S version, and I was going to cut with the saw in the background is a 045, which is the saw which followed on from the 07S. So that's 75 cc's, 50mm piston, 38mm stroke, and the 045 is from mid 70s on, 10 years later, exactly the same, 50mm piston, 38mm stroke, never cut with her. That's run out a bit of a time today, but that's a saw which I'll show in the next few days, and I'll probably show her cutting. She's in amazing condition. And so today I thought I'd show you one of my 041s and just what a tractable engine they are. So just after mid 60s, I think from 66, although there's some differing dates in certain documentation, and there's some differing horsepower figures for the engine as well, and there's several different versions of this. So this is the early version with no chain brake, obviously, has AV mounts, and sorry, I got myself completely sidetracked then for a second. Yeah, so no AVICs, obviously no chain brake, a longer stroke engine for Stihl. So this one is a 44mm piston, and it's a 40mm stroke, so a relatively long stroke when you think the 75 is a 38mm stroke, as is the 45. So if you kind of fast forward nearly 15 years, the saw which kind of replaced this, I guess, would be something like the 038, and that's a 1980 saw, and I love that saw as well. It's a spectacular saw. So that's 61 cc's, but a very different engine configuration. So this is a 44mm piston, 40mm stroke. The 038s are a 48mm piston and a 34mm stroke. So they rev a lot harder, make a bit more power, so say, but they're nowhere near as torquey. And then even it's the follow-on from that version, which is the 039, that's 1mm bigger on the piston. So that's when then they went from a 48 to a 49mm piston, same stroke, 34mm, gives them a displacement of 64.5 cc's. Again, very hard revving engine compared to this. But do you know, when I ran my 038 next to my 41, I picked this saw every day of the week. You have to try a longer stroke engine. They're just so progressive and they're so satisfying to use. You don't have to scream the engine so much. But anyway, so just completely different engine characteristics. And whereas obviously revving a saw at 10+ thousand RPM, you will shorten its life tremendously faster than when you're able to comfortably cut with something several thousand RPM less. And let me show you what this thing cuts like. She's an amazing, amazing saw to cut with. So at present she's fitted with a 16-inch bar and chain setup. I have several configurations for her, but I find with this bar on, well, you can obviously cut up to 32 inch round wood anyway, which is big, you know, it's pretty big wood, but it's so well balanced and it's so manageable. Okay, kill switch. This saw's got amazing compression, very little use. Guys, it's incredibly disappointing. I have hit a piece of metal. Oh. Right. Wow, that's disappointing. Okay, so there you go. You can never tell either what you're going to find when you're cutting wood, and that's a piece of 15-inch larch, and I've cut so much of this wood, and it's been perfect. I've had the odd tiny piece of metal. There we go, and I've hit a piece of metal halfway down. Presumably, maybe some fence or something attached to it, or just an old nail from. Right. Guys, I'm going to need to redress my chain, and I'll show them cutting once I've redone this chain. If she's salvageable, she's better to links over, and so as I'm looking at the bar, it's done the right hand link, or the right hand tooth all the way down. Strangely, the left teeth have missed it, so it's on the right hand side. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll be back and I'll update and I'll show you what she goes through the wood like once I've redone the chain. Bye for now.